You're planning a move to Florida and you're doing all your research and the city of Melbourne keeps popping up on your radar. Well, in this video, I'm going to introduce you to Melbourne, Florida, the harbor city on the Space Coast. So stick around. My name's Larkin and I'm a real estate agent here on the Space Coast. And when I'm not doing videos like this one, I help people buy and sell real estate. So whether you're moving next week, next month, or next year, I am certain you have questions and I'm here to help. QR code will take you to my calendar. Let's schedule a phone call and my contact information is below. Melbourne, Florida is located in Brevard County on the east coast of Florida. It's Brevard County's second largest city with over 86,000 in population. The city offers amazing parks, great restaurants, great shops, live entertainment, and was recently ranked in the top 10 of safest place to live in the US. Do you love the beach or living near the water? Beach access is very easy when you're living in Melbourne because we have 3 causeways that connect the mainland to the beaches. All you need to do is head east on the Pineda Causeway, the O'Galley Causeway, or the Melbourne Causeway, and your toes will be in the sand in about 15 minutes. If you like to boat or fish, maybe get in a kayak or do some stand-up paddleboard. The eastern border of Melbourne is the Indian River, also known as the intracoastal. There's also several tributaries that leading from Melbourne into the Indian River, which would be Crane Creek, the O'Galley River, or Horse Creek. On the west side of town is Lake Washington and the St. Johns River. This offers freshwater resources as opposed to the salt water that's in the intercoastal. Think bass boats, airboats, pontoon boats, maybe a couple gators. Are you looking for a city that has a vibrant downtown area? Well, Melbourne has 2 downtown areas for you to choose from. Historic downtown Melbourne is off of 192 or the Melbourne Causeway, located between the river and Babcock Street. And here there's a large assortment of bars, restaurants, and shops. Meg O'Malley's Restaurant and Pub is probably the most famous in this particular area. I like to have breakfast at Backwaters, grab a drink at the rooftop bar of the Melby Hotel, enjoy the views of the city and look east over the Indian River and beaches beyond. There is a large variety of establishments in historic downtown Melbourne. There's usually live music on weekends, or maybe grab a show at the Henniger Center. The other downtown area that Melbourne has to offer is off the O'Galley Causeway, and we refer to it as EGAD, the O'Galley Arts District. It's a smaller scale than the historic downtown Melbourne area, but certainly worth checking out. As the name suggests, there are quite a few art galleries in this area of town, and it's located between the Indian River and US 1. As you explore the area, you're going to see the dozen of murals painted along the sides of the buildings. Maybe grab a few pints from the Intercoastal Brewery, drinks at Pineapples, or a bite to eat at Nomads or Squid Lips. I love the city that has parks, and Melbourne has over 40 parks throughout the city. Most are quaint neighborhood parks that offer green space, playground, tennis courts, basketball court, and pavilions. If you love the water, check out Ballards Park. It's located just south of the O'Galley Causeway. There is a public boat ramp there where you can launch on the O'Galley River. If you head east, you'll be on the Indian River or Intercoastal, or head west and explore the O'Galley River. I've launched kayaks from Ballards Park, and we went west to explore the O'Galley River and also through the Elbow Creek. Definitely worth checking out. The largest park in Melbourne is Wickham Park. This is over 390 acres and offers just about everything. They have campsites, horse trails, pavilions, frisbee golf, volleyball, archery, a horseshoe pit. There are 2 dog parks and 2 lakes to swim in, and they have a calendar of events throughout the year. They've recently hosted the Blueberry Festival. They also had the Moving Vietnam Wall Memorial at the beginning of May. Do you like to golf? The city of Melbourne has 2 municipal golf courses for you to choose from. One is on Lake Washington Road. The other is off 192. And at the north end of Melbourne, just outside the city limits, you have the Vieira Suntree area, and they have 5 golf courses for you to choose from. If you like to see concerts, comedians, and Broadway style shows, we have the King Center of Performing Arts in Melbourne. They have concerts throughout the year. L3 Harris sponsors Broadway shows. There's always Christmas themed performances in December. I also mentioned the Henniger Center a few minutes ago off of the 192 area. They also have a full calendar of Broadway style shows and live music there to check out. There's a new addition that the Mayor of Melbourne is working on, which is the Melbourne Fairgrounds. This will be in a central location just south of Sarno Road and west of Wickham Road. They had a trial run early in the year with the Renaissance Festival and the Strawberry Festival. These both had positive reviews of the location, and future events that they're planning at the Melbourne Fairgrounds will be an Oktoberfest, as well as Christmas and other holiday type events, plus the Renaissance Festival and future Strawberry Fest. Depending on why you're moving to Melbourne, how you can get around the the city is probably important. There are some main thoroughfares that will get you north and south. US 1 runs on the eastern side of Melbourne along the Indian River. Wickham Road connects the Suntree Vieira area south through Melbourne to Palm Bay. And once you get south of 192, Wickham Road actually becomes Minton Road. And on the west side, you have I-95, where there's 6 exits into the city of Melbourne. We've also got the causeways, which is 3 of the exits off of I-95 that'll connect you from I-95 all the way to the beaches. And 192 actually can connect you from the beaches all the way west through to the Kissimmee St. Cloud area. If what's bringing you to Florida are one of the many government contractor or aerospace jobs that's located in Melbourne near the Melbourne airport, you're in luck. You'll have a nice short commute if you're living anywhere in the city of Melbourne. If you have PCS orders bringing you to Patrick Space Force Base, Melbourne is a good consideration. All you have to do is get to Pineda Causeway and head east across the rivers, and that'll take you to the south gate of Patrick. If you'll be working at the Canaveral Space Force Station or possibly Kennedy Space Center, then you have a little bit longer of a commute. It's about 45 minutes to an hour to the main gate, depending on where you're living at in Melbourne. The city of Melbourne is divided up into 5 zip codes. You have 32901, 32903, 32934, 32935, and 32940. Occasionally I'll talk about 32904, which is not Melbourne, it's actually West Melbourne or Melbourne Village, but more on that in just a minute. 32901, this is the south end of Melbourne. Think historic downtown Melbourne area. You've got FIT. The Melbourne Airport is located here, and if you were going to be working at one of the government contractors or aerospace companies, a lot of them are centered around the Melbourne Airport or the north end of Palm Bay. 32934 is just to the north. If you look at Wickham Road west is the 32934, and Wickham Road to the east is 32935. 32940 is the north end of Melbourne. This is actually outside of the city limits, but this is where you'll find Vieira, Suntree, or Baytree. And 32903, this is kind of the anomaly of the city of Melbourne. It's actually located beachside off of O'Galley, just south of O'Galley along A1A. Most folks recognize this area as Indialantic, but there are some spots that are actually inside the city limits of Melbourne. And 32904, this is mostly considered West Melbourne, but there's also a little tiny town called Melbourne Village that's in this area, and parts of the 32904 are also considered Melbourne. I know, a little confusing. You'll get used to the lay of the land. Just wanted to point that out to you. If this is the first time that you're living in Florida and you haven't lived near the East Coast or near the Gulf Coast, I'm certain you're wondering about hurricanes in the storm season. The good news is most of Melbourne is not in the mandatory evacuation area. If you're living on the mainland east of US 1 or any of the barrier islands, that is mandatory evacuation, but most of Melbourne is west of US 1 and you do not have to evacuate unless you want to. And please note, you get plenty of time and notice before a storm approaches. Usually it's at least a week of notice and preparation before the storm comes close. Some preparation that you'll get used to doing is securing your home or structure, removing or minimizing some of the projectiles that are out in your lawn, getting batteries and flashlights, canned goods, bottled water, filling up your propane tank. And if you decided to get a generator, this is a good time also to test the generator, make sure it's running properly. And again, you have plenty of notice before a storm comes. After your first one, you'll be a seasoned veteran like the rest of your neighbors, and you'll be able to get through it okay. The local news has been fantastic on keeping you up to date with what's happening and also providing resources if you need them. No matter where you're living at, you're going to have to deal with property taxes. With the different areas of Melbourne, if you're living inside the city limits, property taxes are about the same. If you're living in the unincorporated areas, then you're going to have a slightly less property tax. Good news is your realtor will help you determine what the property taxes could be on your upcoming property, but we have a great resource with the Brevard County Property Appraiser's Office website that will let you know what the current millage rate is on the property and what the estimated taxes will be once you make the purchase. And again, any questions about this we'll go over during the home buying process here in the Melbourne area. Are schools important to you? Well, according to greatschools.org, Melbourne has some of the best schools in Brevard County. Suntree, Longleaf, Vieira, and Quest are all rated above average. Vieira High and West Shore Junior Senior High are also rated above average. Melbourne High and Lyndon B. Johnson are rated average schools. And I recommend you do your research. Greatschool.org is a good resource, and I'll have some more linked in the comments below. Where in Melbourne is going to be the right place for you? The good news is Melbourne offers just about every price point, every type of property that you could think of. We have single family homes, we have townhomes, we have condos, there's multifamily, there's manufactured homes. You could live on the water if you want to live on the intracoastal or maybe one of the tributaries, the Ogallie River, Crane Creek, or Horse Creek. You live on the west side on the St. Johns River or Lake Washington. You can live on a golf course. You could back up to a preserve. You can live in a dry lot. You could have a multi-acre parcel down to a 0 lot line. There is brand new construction, homes that were built in the last 20 years. There are a lot of homes in Melbourne and throughout Brevard County that was built in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. If you like the historic turn of the century homes, Melbourne also has a few of those. Here's an important question for you. What do you think about living in a homeowners association? If you are a flat out no, we can eliminate an entire area of Melbourne. The 32940, which is Suntree and Vieira, these are basically large homeowners associations. So if you don't want to be a part of an HOA, we can just cross that section right off the list. The rest of Melbourne will have to look at each area because there are homeowners associations sprinkled throughout the city. Typically newer construction homes could be in a homeowners association, so please keep that in mind. I hope you enjoyed this introduction to Melbourne, Florida, and it answered some of your questions. If you have other questions, we should schedule a call. This QR code, it will take you to my calendar. Grab a time that works for you and let's talk. And of course, my contact information is below. I'm also queuing up 2 more videos for you here about the Melbourne area. My name is Eric Larkin with Real Brokers. I appreciate you tuning in, and I'll see you on the next show.